Hey, it's May 14th. This is Dave Schurter. This is my video for the day. I'm going to post it underneath the description of this video, but someone sent me an NBC News broadcast about the State Department hiding child trafficking. This was reported by National News, NBC, and they said that it was covered up. My question is, when are people going to care about kids? This is obviously going on. Our government is obviously involved with it. The state government covered it up. Now, Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State at the time when it happened. However, if you look back in the 80s and what was going on in Omaha, Nebraska, it was reported that it was the Republican Party, that it went all the way up to George Bush Sr., Ronald Reagan White House. And people keep thinking that it's either Republican or Democrat. But in the 80s, it was all Republican. And now people are saying it's all Democrat. So when did the Republicans turn over this multi-gazillion dollar cash cow that they have selling kids? And it's obviously there. We not only have the State Department covering up child trafficking, we have the Pentagon was historically downloading child pornography. So we had the Pentagon and a bunch of pedophiles in the Pentagon. Nothing was done. Now, of course, there will people who will say, oh, well, that NBC News article is fake news. Interesting how fake news mirrors the false memories that was done in the 80s. Both are given to us by the CIA. It's made so that it convolutes everything, so that nobody knows what the truth is. Everybody can just dismiss it. Many, many people want to dismiss the child trafficking thing. And like this Allison Mack being involved with this cult, they were trafficking kids. And but nothing comes out of it. The Me Too movement, what we've been given by this whole Me Too movement, it's all adults. None of them were kids. The only person, like I said, who has come out that has been associated with kids is Kevin Spacey, and I think that's because Kevin Spacey's gay. And so it was a way to, he was kind of like the sacrificial lamb as far as that goes. But we have child trafficking going on. This fake news. NBC News was also the organization that reported in 2006 when the Air Force went in front of Congress and talked about these directed energy weapons and how the fact that they had them and they were going to use them on American people to actually show the rest of the world they were safe. Well, now it's 2018 and they're still considered conspiracy theory. So obviously they aren't safe. And of course, my question is, what Americans did they test them on? But since it didn't come out, and our government owns all of the patents for all of these weapons. And so you really think they have these weapons and they're not using these weapons on people, even though they said they were going to? What, did they have a conscious, And our government is involved. In the 80s, what we had with the CIA coming out with false memories and all of that was that we had the FBI come out with Kenneth Lanning, and we had the FBI come out with Kenneth Lanning saying, oh, well, this doesn't exist, And I personally believe that these people who are involved with this cult stuff, it's more about kids. It's not about Satanism and all of that. Satanism is being used because the minute you come out and say that, then the child trafficking and the child abuse gets dismissed, because we've all been taught that, no, satanic stuff doesn't, ritual abuse doesn't happen. And so it's a way to actually discredit anybody who comes out and says, yes, I was raped and trafficked as a kid. It's an aspect that goes along with it. And people need to realize that this is happening. In KETV in Omaha, Nebraska, has come out and said child trafficking is a big thing on Interstate 80 right now. But no news media, No national news media is picking up the story. We're being taught that all of this doesn't exist, but NBC News says that the State Department closed everything down as far as child trafficking. We don't talk about kids being trafficked. And it's just, what is it going to take for people to actually get involved? And once it's your kid, you'll find that there's no resources for you. The Center for Missing and Exploited Children say that one child is disappearing every 27 seconds. The pedophile protection squad will say, oh, well, that's all parents. So we have parents abducting their kids one every 27 seconds. And are they also the ones who are doing the child trafficking on Interstate 80? Are they trafficking their own kids? Were all these parents involved with the State Department that actually closed down the pedophilia and the child trafficking there? None of it makes any sense. Well, it does make sense. Our government is involved with this. And I suppose you can tell yourself that it doesn't exist so that you can feel okay with the world. But it's much like tying a plastic bag over your head and telling yourself that you don't breathe oxygen. The results are going to be the exact same. And we really do need to care. And all you people who, expound upon these Christian values that you have, children were God's favorite, are God's favorite, and we do nothing to try and help them. We turn a blind eye. If it's other people's kids, we don't care. But one child every 27 seconds, saying that it can't end up being your child is not logical. The numbers show that eventually it could be your child or your grandchild or your great-great-grandchild. These people, and it comes from the elites. It's the people who own everything. That's the reason why we see no investigations. Every investigation that comes up is closed down, and the media doesn't report it. But what, eight companies own all the media? That's why we're not seeing it come out. And our government is involved. Obviously, watch the NBC News, and you'll see that the State Department is involved. And this is the same. All the victims that come out are dismissed and attacked. The pedophile protection squad will say, oh, well, we keep our names anonymous. We're anonymous trolls because we're just not safe doing what we do. But consider how many of them have died compared to how many survivors have died or been incarcerated or had to go into hiding. The numbers, Max Spears, Lori King, Fiona Barnett, myself, I've been attacked. Every single book on Amazon that's written about it is completely attacked by anonymous trolls. Everything is attacked. And in the UK, let me point out that this Hampstead case with the kids came out exactly the same time the UK got busted for the fact that their allegations in the 80s were proven to be true. And they didn't investigate it because they said, oh, it was historic and all the people that were involved are old and dying now. But the Hampstead case came out right at the exact time. I contend that it was their government who used that case to try and dismiss everything. We are being run by lies, and it's going to take us to actually become aware and actually realize what's going on and to care enough to do something about it. So that's my video for the day.